This is the moment when I realized that I messed up, but I'm gonna show you what I did because I'm not gonna edit that part. So this right here, okay, I love this. It's a fabric basket, okay, and this can be anything from a Halloween bin, a Halloween basket that you're going to use, you know, going out trick-or-treating, if you're going trick-or-treating with COVID. But Halloween baskets, you can create this to be a gift basket for someone for, you know, for the holidays. You can create this to be a book bag for children's books. Everything, it really just depends on, one, where you're putting your handles, okay, and two, the kind of fabric that you use, okay. And so I'll talk you through that when we're doing this project, all right, but it's pretty cool. You could even make them for your bathroom storage area for your toiletries. It could be anything. All right, so we're just gonna jump right into this, okay. We're gonna get started. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I'm Nikki. If you're just joining me for the first time, subscribe, because I make real-time tutorials where I walk you through projects for your friends and family. Okay, I have some outer fabric and then I have my lining. Okay, I've already adhered my interface. Okay, I normally do it on camera, but just for this video, because doing pockets I'm gonna take a little longer. So I've already done that. I'm also using home decor fabric. It's stronger than regular cotton, okay? So I didn't really need this interface. I just wanted to add it on just because I'm making this for my daughter and she packs like she's running away for her life, and just because the things that she wants to put in it or will put in it, I wanted to make sure it's super strong, okay? But if you're gonna use cotton, you do wanna have interface. You can use either Peltex or you can use the Pellon 809, okay? Lining, and then I have some straps here, okay? We're gonna use, these are going to be straps. So you can choose, let me show you something here. So the way that I created the straps here, I just like to match my straps, but here's some options for you, okay? If you don't have enough fabric or if you're strapped for time, strap. This is webbing. This is 1-inch nylon webbing. This is really good if you're making something for your bathroom shelves, okay? Because where the fabric you're going to use is water resistant, you know, this is also, it's nylon. It's really good for, you know, if the steam and thing, if it gets wet. But anyway, it's also just a good time saver. This is also a type of webbing you can use, okay? This is twill webbing, and you'll be able to notice the difference between the two of them. Okay, you can, you know, use these if you buy it by the yard or in bulk. You can use both of these types for bags, you know, different types of bags. So you'll never go wrong with having them. All right, so those are options for straps. Let's get started sewing with our project. Okay, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to prepare the straps. Okay. So go ahead, let's gather these pieces here. Okay. Go ahead with grab your scrap, not your scraps, your strap pieces. Put them right side together. If you are using cotton fabric, I want you to put interface on your straps. If you're not using cotton fabric, you don't have to put the interface because this material is thicker if you're using home decor or if you're using outside fabric, okay? So those are strong, okay? I'm just gonna pin this and I'm just gonna sew down two sides, the left and the right side, okay? I wanted to try to make the video shorter for you guys. That's how I put my interface on. That's how I put my interface on before the video. Because I figure if you've been sewing, you know how to put interface on. That's not that's not a big, real important part of the project that you need to see. But I also don't like speeding up through my videos because I like to show you guys everything. All right, clipping off those corners. Clipping off the corners we know is going to help reduce the bulk. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to turn these right side out. Okay, I'm going to create a little bit of a pocket there just so that my chopstick can fit in there. Okay, be careful you don't poke it through to, you know, don't do it rough, and don't use the pointy side because then you're going to poke through your stitches. Been there, done that plenty of times. All right, now for this one. So yeah, the basket that we're going to do, there's so many different uses for it. You could even just make that the gift and give someone, you know, a set of special baskets, you know. So I used to take mine all the time to my sewing classes and put all of my sewing supplies on the outside pockets. But besides that, you can use it to store art supplies, you know, and pick your fabric from the novelty section. Pick your fabric, you know, for the intended person. That's what makes the gift special. You can alter the size if you want to use it for blankets, you know, at the end of your sofa. Who doesn't cuddle up with a blanket? But you can make it larger, you know. I'm just going to get the iron right now. We're going to flatten this out as I talk. But yeah, you can use, make these sizes larger, wider if you want to, you know, so that you can have a basket at the end of your sofa for, you know, for throws. What else? Oh, it's endless. Oh, you can use it as a organizer in the back of your car, you know, for like when you're grocery shopping, and put the groceries in the back of the bin, or you can make a smaller basket to have a toy bag for the kids in the car. I live in Florida, and you don't want to leave really anything in your car in the hot weather. Definitely not crayons or anything. Did that too with my kids with a brand new car. But anyway, melted crayons. All right, so what we're going to do right now, I am going to put finishing touches on these. We're going to sew 1/8 of an inch around just on the left and right side to finish off the straps. All right. Top stitching makes everything look beautiful. All right, so our straps are prepared. Oh, the other cool thing, I did a batch of baskets for a volleyball team once. They were for the seniors. They were shower caddies. So if you want to do a shower caddy, like if someone is going to college or something like that, you can use water resistant fabric. You can use the outdoor fabric, and inside just line it with water resistant lining instead of using the regular cotton lining. So you can use like ripstop or, you know, PUL. That's pretty cool inside. And they'll make pretty cool shower caddies, but you wouldn't make it this long, okay? But it's where you place the straps that will determine how you're using this, whether for a shelf or carrying. All right, so now what we're going to do, put those straps aside, we're going to prepare the pockets. All right, so I'm going to just place that over there, okay? And like I said, I already have my interface on. What I'm going to do is take my lining, okay? We're gonna put pretty side to pretty side, okay? I am using the matching fabric for the inside of my pocket just because two things. One, it's cheaper to use than to cut another piece, you know, of this fabric for the inside of the pocket, which, you know, which no one's going to see. I'm talking about this right here right now. So if you look here, the inside, this is, I've used the same material, but this fabric was also cheaper than, you know, purchasing the home decor. So what I'm doing is I'm making the pockets with this cotton fabric on the inside. Okay, so those little things are a way that if you're making a lot of things, you got to think of how you can at least try to save a little money while giving quality to the gift. All right, so my pretty sides are together, and all I'm going to do is I just want to sew one side of this, just one side, one long side. Okay, I'm gonna put a stitch all the way across. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to get the other pocket. So let's prepare this side. I'm just gonna leave that to the side for right now. We're gonna come right back to it as soon as we prepare this piece. Okay, and again, pretty side. That's my pretty side. Pretty side to pretty side. And sometimes you actually have to look. So it's hard sometimes, like if you're using black, to know which is your pretty side. Some of it just looks the same. I love when you figure out fleece, because you can just pull it, and when it curls, that's how you know which is the right side of your fabric. All right, doing the same thing here. Straight line. You go slow if you need to. I can do my straight line. I am lining up with my guide marker, and I pound on my baby. But you take your time if you need to. All right. All right. So now grab your iron. Okay. And what we're going to do, we're going to flip this. Just flip it over. Okay. And what we want to do, tuck it under. We're going to iron this down. Let's say, make sure it goes underneath. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, here we go. There we go. A little struggle hasn't hurt anybody. Okay, so what we're doing, the interface is what is creating that little fold, which is the reason that we want to iron it down. And so that it looks like this. Okay, we want to make sure that we tuck under that lining. Okay, we're going to top stitch on it because obviously we don't want it to bulk up. So we're going to put a top stitch across the pocket for sure. Okay, that took some finagling. All right, so go ahead now and let's secure that seam so it doesn't pop up on us or cause bulk. 1/8 of an inch all the way across. It's gonna make your pockets look really pretty too. I'm still at 3.0, but I think I'm gonna bump it up to 3.5 so my stitches can look a little wider. Yes, I like the way that looks. Yep, I like the way that looks better. So that's 3.5. The longer stitch length looks really good with thicker fabric. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other one. So if you're using home decor, get your struggle on. All right. Doing the pockets is actually probably, you know, just not the hardest, but the longest part, because otherwise putting the basket together is the easiest. Doesn't take as much time. All right, what we want to do, we want to grab a layer of that outer fabric. Okay, what we want to do is line up the pocket piece that we created, okay, the part that we top stitched, line that up on top of the outer fabric. Okay, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are just a few inches, okay, 3 inches, that's good, making sure we're 3 inches from the top. Okay, I'm going to pin this so that we have this together. Okay, I'm gonna pin this. I'm gonna pin it up here so I don't have to repin it again when we do our squares. Pin this here. All right, it's a little thicker because I'm gonna grab the other panel so we can do that at the same time. Okay, so I'm just lining up my fabrics. Okay, good. And I'm just gonna make sure that they're 3 inches. Okay, they are. And that's 3 inches. Okay. All right, pin this here. I can feel the good thickness, the quality in this. Okay. Okay, so now I'm not editing that. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to create some sections in the pocket. Okay, just because what we want to do is give at least 2 separate sections, two separate partitions, okay, for the pocket. So I'm folding this in half. Of course, the basket that I'm doing right now is larger than the one that I just showed you, but it's okay. So I folded this in half because I wanted to find my middle point. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, I'll do 2 pockets on this side. You create your pockets how you want to. If you want them in thirds, go ahead and do them in thirds. Or if you want them in fourths, you do what you want. I'm just going to make 2 pockets on each side. Yes, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew straight line right down the middle. Okay, when I get to the top of the pocket right here, we want to back stitch at least twice. Okay, give that partition, because when things are going in and out, you want to make sure that you just have a just a little extra stitching there. Okay, all right, so I'm going to stitch right down that line to create the partition for the pocket, and I'm still at 3.5. Taking my time when I just got to the top there, so I don't want to go past the pocket line. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing on the other pocket. All right. What we're going to do now, go ahead and get the pretty side of your other fabric. So we want to put these pretty sides together. Pretty side and pretty side. Okay? Put them together face down. You can take out your pins because we're going to repin. Okay? Pretty side to pretty side. Now, here's something that you want to, here's a little tip. Okay? Something to think about. Okay? Look at this. You want to make sure that your pockets are lined up together. okay? When you put your pretty side to your pretty side. If your pockets are not lined up together, right? It's sort of like when you're doing a tote bag, right? They're not going to be seamless when you flip this right side out, okay? All right, so they're lined up. Looks great. I'm just gonna check this side. Oh, you see, my pockets were not lined up right here. You see that? That's why we check. You wanna make sure. Yeah, there we go. They're lined up now, okay? All right. So if you have to repin, go ahead and repin, but that's something to, you know, just take note of. So, and now you can repin. Ooh, mine is thick now. Okay. But so what we're going to do is we are going to sew from the top all the way down, go all the way across, and all the way back up to the top. Okay, we're going to close up this basket here. Okay. All right. Here we go. You're sewing through multiple layers. And don't worry at all about if your interface or something is, you know, short, and if it's, you know, you see my interface didn't go all the way to the edge. Don't worry about it. No one's going to see that. That's the pocket area. I was giving it some extra stitches. And you'll know when you reach your pocket area because you can feel the thickness. Give it some extra love. Okay, pivoting. This is why I said I wasn't worried about back stitching down here, because I knew that we were going to go over that pocket line. I have a heavy duty machine, but I just wanted you guys to see that your brother machine can do heavy duty. So as long as you don't do it too often to pound it. But I pound my brother. I love my brother better than my heavy duty singer. I'm going over that pocket area more than once. Okay. A little extra love never hurt anyone. Okay. All right. This is thick. All right, here we go. Yeah, have faith in your brother machine. Seriously. All right. I'm going to clip off the corners here. If you have a large seam, if you did it large, go ahead and, you can reduce some of the bulk by cutting it. So look at this. Right now, this is what we have. But we need to give it that boxy shape. So what we're going to do, oh, I forgot you didn't need to cut your corners. Haha. Because we're going to get rid of them now. Depending on how deep, how wide you want the bottom of your basket to be, okay, you have to think that, you see this right here? So this is 7 inches on the bottom, okay, for the width here. If you want 7 inches, then you need to divide that in half, which will be 3.5, and then you'll get 7 inches for your for the bottom of the width of your bag. So I am going to put this at 3.5. Okay, my pocket is here. Okay, so I can feel how high my pocket is going to be, which is nice. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to do it at 3.5. Okay, and I'm going to mark this. What I'm doing on interface, I don't use my marking tool just because I I can't see the lines, the riveted lines. Okay, 3.5. I clipped off that corner, but I'm lining it up here. Okay. All right, 3.5. All right. And I'm going to cut these now. All right. Wow, that's a thick one. All right, here we go. Guys, this is the moment when I realize that I messed up, but I'm gonna show you what I did because I'm not gonna edit that part. Look down here. So I started to cut and then I was like, that don't look like a square. And then I realized when I marked, I was like, yep, that's a beautiful 3-inch line, because I was going to do a 3-inch square, but then I changed it to 3.5. So look at that. I did 3-inch here and then 3.5. Yeah, that's not gonna work. So what I had to do when I just started to cut, what I had to do was extend my line to the actual 3.5. Okay. And then we need to now extend this part because I needed another 1/2 inch. Okay. So, so that's what we're going to do. But I did draw a perfectly straight line with that ruler. All right. All right, here we go. Yeah. I'm not afraid to show you guys when I mess up. So, I'm telling you, one day I'll let you guys see the bloopers. Now we're cutting the perfect square. All right. Yeah, I was like, man, that doesn't look like a square. All right. If y'all notice, I'm not using my rotor cutter, but my finger is much better. Just wanted to say that. Ha ha ha. But using the scissors. Okay. So that's another joke for people that have been following along. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to get those boxes ready. Okay. So if you followed along, you know how I do my triangle, you know how I do my squares. I don't like the triangles. That's why we did the boxes, right? Okay. So inside of here, right, the pockets are there. Okay. So it's going to feel a little different. All I'm doing is I'm going to do the same thing I've always done. Put it down, and we want to make sure that those seams are going opposite directions. Look how many layers we're sewing through. You see this? See that? And I still have faith in my brother. I didn't even whip out the heavy-duty Singer. All right, so pin this if you need to. I'll pin it for you. All right, pinning. All right, I'm pinned. And now what we're going to do is we're going to sew right across, okay? You're going to sew right across 1/4 inch or whatever you want. But I'm going with my 1/4 inch. All right. Oh, this is a good time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you here. I'm going to switch my stitch. I'm not going to do a straight stitch here. We need to give it some extra stitching. So I want to change to number 16. Okay. The reason is because here's a straight stitch. Okay. When we're looking at it, we have the straight stitch, but I wanted to do a zigzag as well. Okay, so I'm gonna switch to number 16, and it's going to do the straight stitch for me as well as the zigzag. Okay, because this is a thick baby. All right, here we go. I lined up my fabric with the guide marker furthest to the right. I'm going slowly over the seams because they are kind of thick. Okay. All right. If you don't have extra stitches on your machine, I'm just going to remove the pins now. Then go ahead, do the straight stitch, but you might want to do like 2 stitches. I'm going to do the other side. Okay. And I want to make sure that my seams, yes, make sure my seams are going the same way. Okay. I'm going to pin it a little further up. This is a quality basket you're getting, my daughter. Brah. Pin that. All right, here we go. Turn the seams. Okay. Here we go. I was just looking because I was like, the seams are a little thick there, but all right. So now the basket has its shape. Wow. Broke the pin off. Okay, so the basket has its shape now. Okay. All right. I'm going to turn this right side out. Poking those corners. Poking the corners through. Okay. I like for the pockets to have that little extra fabric on the bottom because it gives the bottom a thickness as well. That looks really good. Okay, now we're ready for the lining. It's all easy peasy after this, folks. All right, so get your lining. We're going to put the lining pieces, put that to the side. We're going to put the lining pieces pretty side to pretty side. All right, pretty side to pretty side. All right, and what we want to do, we want to pin it. We're going to sew down 3 sides, the left, the right, and the bottom. We're going to leave an opening in the bottom, okay, so that we can flip this right side out. Okay, if you don't leave your bottom open, you can't flip it. All right, so we're going to sew this lining, okay, around all 3 sides. And remember to leave that opening. Leaving my opening. I left a little more than I normally would, just because I felt the thickness of my basket, so I would need to push it through. All right, we need to create our box boxes here, just like we did on the outside. And of course, I've already showed you that what I like to do is hold on to that template, right? So because we know that it's going to be the same size. So what I'm just going to do is put my template down, and I'm going to cut the squares so I don't have to waste time measuring again. I'm just cutting the squares for the bottom. And I'm going to do this one as well. So that we don't have to spend the time lining up the ruler, and we know we're going to get the exact same sizes. All right, let's go ahead and do our boxes. You know what you need to do, so pull it apart and make sure that those seams, I'm gonna remove my pin from there. Pull it apart and just make sure that those seams are going to go in the opposite direction. Okay. I'm not switching over to a different stitch because this is the inner lining. I just wanted to give the outer that extra bit of stitching, but this is the liner, so we don't need to do that. Okay. Going over to the next one. Pull, pull, pull. Okay, pulling it apart. If you haven't seen me do other videos, I don't like the triangles because I like to know. I like to be able to see my seams on the outside. Make sure that they're lining up. If I'm doing the triangle, I can't see that those seams, you know, I can't see if they do or don't line up. Okay, I just want to check and make sure. Oh, good thing I checked, because look, that seam is going that way. This I push that way, so we want to make sure, push that way. So, otherwise you'll have twisted bulk. Okay, give it a little back stitch. All right, let's do this. We are going to take this lining. We're going to leave the lining the way it is so that the pretty side is inside. Let's put the basket inside so that the pretty sides will touch each other. Okay? So you're not doing anything with that lining. Don't flip it or anything. Just sit it inside. Pretty sides touching pretty sides. Okay? Now, this is the part that you get to decide, and it's going to depend on what you're using it for, but this is the part that you're going to decide with your straps where you want your straps located. I'm putting these straps on this side, okay? I'm going to tuck it in and make sure that they're facing the same way. And what I'm going to do is put them about 1 inch from the seam, okay? All right, do that. So you see this? They're each about 1 inch from the seam. Let's tuck it in here, and I'm gonna get some pins. I'm gonna let go for a minute because I know where the 1 inch is. I just need to grab my pins. Okay, and I'm just leaving a little bit sticking out, but I'm gonna leave the same amount sticking out on the other side. All right. Here we are, and I want it to be the same distance, so I'm about 1 inch. Okay, my seams line up there. That looks good. I know you're looking at my stragglies, but I'll get rid of all of them. All right, yep, that's the same, because we want the handle, we want to make sure the handles are the same, make sure they're the same size. Do the same thing to the other side of your basket. All right, here we go. I am just, I am folding it to make sure that they're going to go the same way. And I'm going to do the same thing, tuck it in there, separate them about 1 inch. Okay. That looks to me like it's the same size as the other. All right. Some things you have to be real tedious with. I don't like those sewing projects, which is probably why I don't do those quilting, those triangular quilting projects. Because that's tedious. I mean, if you've ever purchased a quote from someone like that or thought about it, just know they put a lot of work into that. Very tedious. All right, let's close up this basket. All right, so we're going to put it under your machine. You are stitching all the way around. Keep your raw edges lined up together, stitching all the way around the entire basket. Okay, we are not leaving a hole because that's what we have the hole in the lining for, under there. Okay, I'm starting at my seams because I always do. Because I like to give it a little bit extra love. In the seam, I want to see the extra stitching. Okay, that's how I always start my seams. If you know you're putting something heavy in the basket, or that's a purpose for the basket, go over your handles a little bit, that stitch, and then after you've sewn all around your basket, go back and put zigzag in the seam. Okay, I'll give your handles a little extra love. I'm just, on my shoulders. Making sure that you'll see them. You'll see them on the pretty side. Okay, I'm just holding these together because the thickness of the door, it wants to pull away from the side. I'm holding it together. So just because also protect your wants to fall, wants to pull, because it's heavy. So that's what we do on the basket. Right, because yes, Peltex has better baskets, but they also need the so think about that when you are designing a product. You cannot substitute quality. So which is why you also decide what you use. You want to make sure that you put extra stitching so that the stitches don't hurt. Or worst thing is to have something, or even if I close at the store, the stitching comes out. Wow, it goes to check. All right, on the back side. Clear the mess. I'm curious to know what your carpets and your floors look like at the end of your sewing day. One day I'm gonna give you guys a tour of my room. Every day, gotta sweep the floor. Okay, here we go. Turned it right through that pocket on the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna poke out the bottoms with my hands. All right, and now what I'm just going to do before I even fix this, because I see the seam, which is great. I like that that 1/4 inch seam allowance, but I'm gonna close this up. Now, of course, if you're making it for someone and if you use a different color thread, be mindful of that. I'm gonna sew this with my blue thread, just so that it saves time for the video. My daughter won't mind. So I'm just going to close this up. But if you're giving this as a gift to someone, change your thread color, okay? And so, all right. I purposely love to make my closing stitch line smaller than the stitching. I like to make it 2.5 so that I know those stitches will not come out. Okay. But yeah, if you're going to give it to someone, make sure you use coordinating thread. Okay. So this is the part that we're going to finish this up by, you're gonna need the iron, so turn on your iron. Okay. Oh, this looks really good. So what we're gonna do is we're going to iron down this top area here because we want to force the seam. See, the seam is right here, right? it's right here, but we want to force it down. Okay, so we want to put, we want to iron it to hold it down, and then we want to put a top stitch. Okay, so let's get this prepped to sew. I should probably start using my ironing board or ironing mat. Okay. Here we go. Gonna iron this down. And I'm not going to waste too much time perfecting it, because all I want to do is make that seam stay down. You're gonna iron everything when you're done with the project. So, trust me, ironing before you top stitch really helps a lot, because you're not fighting with it when it's in the machine. Okay. Here we go. When we put this top stitch on, that's going to be the final part of the project. So, I love when I'm working on a project and know, like, once you get to the end, you're like, oh my God, I did that. That looks so good. I'm at the point with that. I'm looking at this fabric and I saw it in the store and I bought it because it was on sale and I didn't know what I was going to do with it. But I had something in mind, but I'm kind of glad my daughter loved it. It's like abstracted. Yeah, this is totally her. So, all right. So again, we're getting ready to do the top stitching. Okay, all around the top. We want to do 1/8 of an inch. But again, here is where you want to be mindful of your thread color. Whatever is on the outside of your fabric, if you chose a different color lining, well, you're going to see that bobbin. Okay, again, mine is blue. I'm not going to change it just because I'm not. But you could leave your spool in so that the spool on the top, your thread on the top, is your outside color, and then change your bobbin to match your lining if you want it to. Okay, so let's do that. All right. Starting at my seam again. Now see, my basket is longer and I'm just gonna have to play with it. You know, just to turn it and hold on to it. All right, I'm going up on 3.5. Okay, and I'm at half a, let's see, I've moved my 0.5 for my distance. You want to make sure that you take your time with this, because you're top stitching on the outside. It needs to look good. And so, you also want to make sure that you are pushing down your liner in case it shifted inside. All right. I'm just turning the basket as I make it. And checking my lining. So if you are using your brother, the CE1125, the Project Runway, just believe in it and know that you can get through multiple layers. regardless of what people think. And so I use it for quilting too. And no, I do not get any sponsorship from Brother. I'm just saying it because it's true and I love them. That's why I love their machines. If you've seen some other videos, you know I have other machines as well, but I have a Singer heavy duty, but I'm not using it right now. I'm just clipping my stragglies because I'm back at the beginning. Okay, here we go. Yeah, you guys call Brother and tell them to sponsor my channel. Because I teach you guys good with the Brother, I think. All right, so go ahead and clip it off. All right. All right, guess what, guys? We have a fabric basket. That is it. So that's all for this project. Create your baskets to be loaded up. Of course I have to iron this and it'll stiffen up, but yeah, create your baskets, change the dimensions to what you need them for, what you want them for, and give somebody an extra special gift. So instead of plastic bags and tissue paper, make them a basket and put the gift inside of that. Or I gave you a lot of examples of how you can use this basket. So have fun with it. All right. So if you have questions, put them down below. Otherwise, I will see you back here for the next video. All right. Subscribe, like the video. Okay. And yeah. I'll see you back for the next video.